Boys and girls, how are we today? I've had a long battle with this old truck. I had to share this video. I was outsmarted and I overlooked the obvious. So what happened was, a while ago we had a P0300 and a P0174 code. We had faulty O2 sensors, so I replaced them with two brand new GM ones, did the video onto it, thought everything was good. We went over to the truck pull. I really didn't get to drive the truck a whole lot. So anyway, after getting to use it a bit more, I noticed right away on the cold starts it was running really rough. I've got true dual exhaust on the truck, and I was noticing major excessive fuel smell and even smoke when it was running. The other big thing that was really throwing me for a loop was, since I put this engine in, it didn't seem to matter what I did with HP tuners, this thing was always trying to fight and argue with me. So pay attention, guys, because this was a very hard lesson learned, and it was a very simple fix. So I was getting P0300, P0174. I think I had a P0171 times before, and when I hooked my handheld scanner to it, this thing can do misfire data. You can watch it live. So when I turned the misfire data on, just to verify that there was trouble on the right side, which I already knew there was because of the way I had my exhaust geared up, which is a big benefit to dual exhaust if you guys are thinking about it. So anyway, we started off, I watched the misfire scanner. Cylinder 6 was showing to be fairly troublesome. It was picking up a lot of them, but that being said, it was picking up misfires on all the cylinders on that bank. So funny thing was, if I'd unplugged one O2 sensor or the other, it would kind of work better, because right at an idle it was dumping so much fuel that it was just pop 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 pop. Okay, and then when you tried to drive it cold, it few different times was pretty nasty and didn't even want to behave properly. So we put new O2 sensors in, we watched misfire live data. So then I decided to go on and watch my fuel trim data, and lo and behold, there was some weird stuff going on, to say the least. So I thought, what the heck, maybe I've got a clogged injector, because these 8.1s are very prone to clogged injectors. I do actually clean mine every so many months, so I didn't figure it was a problem, but it's pretty simple to pull that rail off and check them. Anyway, they were all clean and good. Pulled the plugs out. Every single plug in this bank was black, coal black, not burning good at all. And anyway, the plugs are all good, the wires are all good, the coils are all good. So I said, like, this is just getting crazy. It didn't matter if I pulled fuel with HP tuners, this thing just wanted to argue with me, and if I plugged both the O2 sensors in, I was having major troubles. So here's the funny part. After 2 more days now, 3 days before the truck pull and 2 days afterwards, so here you can see my brand new O2 sensors, and this one is right up in here. Okay, they're 2 days old. Truck kind of did the same thing, but kind of not. I wasn't getting the O2 heater fault code, but I was still getting lean codes. So I was to the point I was just about frustrated. So what I had done previously, because I was using this truck for work and just didn't have time for it, if I actually unplugged the driver's side sensor, the truck seemed to act all right. Trouble is, when you do that, your truck will not go into power enrichment, so you won't have your full horsepower and you won't have that big torque when you're needing it. And also, if you do drive like that and you rev it out, if you don't have a wideband, you won't see it, but what'll happen is you will be running lean on the top end because the extra fuel and the power enrichment is not there. So when I started my truck up, I mean, this thing always runs rough because of the camshaft into it. But what would happen is I'd start this thing up, and right away on my wideband it would be reading like 13, 12, 8, like super rich. Should not be running like that. You only want to see 12, 8, and 13s when you're wide open throttle. So, like I said, I was in half a state of confusion. I was a little bit frustrated. As you can see, I've got some nicer numbers there for idle. And I'm sorry I'm dragging this out, but I got to, because it's just, I went through everything. I even, when I had the 4 plugs out, I did a compression test on this side of cylinders because I thought for sure that I had a weak one. Well, I didn't. They're all showing good compression, which made me very happy. So I said, like, what else can this be? I just put new manifold gaskets in this. I do have a stainless header on this side and a non-stainless on that side. Future job. Long story short, couldn't get this side to seal. Went through hell and high water. Ended up using a gasket with Permatex copper, and it doesn't leak a drop up top. So I had the truck running, and I was underneath it, and what I noticed was I could hear an exhaust leak. And, well, I'm pretty fussy. This thing might not look the best or the cleanest, but it doesn't leak, okay? Or at least it didn't. At some point in time, I must have broke the weld up here in this joint. And what happened was I had a small air leak, and it was loud enough I could hear it in the cab. It was like a ticking sound, but when I got underneath the truck with it idling, it was very, very, like, it wasn't a crazy leak, we'll say that, and say the least. So anyway, my sensor is mounted right behind it. And what happened was I built this small piece for the downpipe off the headers, and then I built an exhaust from here back. So with that air leak where it was at, that air was blowing right onto my O2 sensor. And when an O2 sensor sees air, it immediately starts dumping fuel. And I know this. And I have known this for a very long time. Like, this is not the first rodeo. But this truck sat for a few months. My brain was away from it. Blah, blah, blah. Excuses. But what happened was a very, very simple small air leak caused that sensor to freak out. Caused this motor to run like a bag of trash. Burned God knows how much unnecessary fuel. Like, all my fuel mileage videos, I'm gonna have to redo one, because I know I'm gonna see a major difference now that this is fixed. But anyway, there was a small slit in the top of that pipe. Welded it, fixed it, done deal. Truck's now back up running great. And I might add, as you can see when I started it, it actually starts way better than it ever did before. And when she fires up, the first numbers my wideband see are the numbers that I want to see. So, hard lesson learned, but finally got it figured out. The startup is usually a bit rich just because of its startup.